So the headline-grabbing exploits of Lady Gaga's meat dress, Miley Cyrus's twerking, and Kim Kardashian's sex tape have nothing on America's first real diva. Connecticut's own Sophie Tucker dazzled audiences for the first half of the 20th century. She was a brilliant combination of diva, performer, and singer known as the last of the Red Hot Mamas. Joining me now are Susan and Lloyd Ecker, who wrote the fictional memoir, I Am Sophie Tucker. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So we mentioned a little, we gave the names Miley Cyrus, Kim Kardashian, Lady Gaga. Compare her to someone we would know today.
Well, I think Lady Gaga
the most,
is the most because, well, certainly Bette Midler did Sophie jokes in her act, but Lady Gaga for today, the fact that she pushes the limits, that she tests the boundaries, and also that she's a great singer, that's what Sophie was about. She had these outrageous things that she did on stage, but she was also a very good jazz singer.
Without the meat.
Without the meat dress, right? Lloyd, bring me back to how you both became, I wouldn't say obsessed, but really interested in Sophie Tucker.
Well, that's really my wife's story, so I'm going to defer to her.
That's fine. It's a great story. It's a love story.
It's a love story.
I'll chip in later.
Back in 1973, the two of us were at Ithaca College. His job was to get concerts to the school.
Okay.
Now, he had a little competition from a small school across the hill named Cornell, but he got a call from a promoter that said, we have a cancellation. She's a new singer. Do you want her? He said, well, I don't know who she is, but send her. So that concert was our first date. And because that was our first date, it was a special concert. And there I am sitting in the front row with all these people behind me, and I'm waiting for the concert to start. And all of a sudden, my date says, I'll be right back.
Okay.
And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what kind of a date did I get myself into?
He left.
He left. Next thing I see, he's up on stage when the lights come on. He says, okay, everybody, give a warm welcome to Miss Bette Midler.
That was the new singer,
That was
Midler.
the new singer. Something
that was quite a get for you.
Yes.
But the best part was afterwards we had dinner backstage with Bette Midler, so I'm thinking, all right, I'll go on a second date. He's not such a
so bad.
schlub.
That's impressive.
But then when we finally, after our kids got left home and we sold our business, he said, okay, what do you want to do now? And I said, well, I really want to have dinner with Bette Midler again. And he said, I have a better idea.
So I said, let's find out who Sophie Tucker is. We'll write a documentary. We'll write a book. We'll turn it into a Broadway play. We'll turn that into a Hollywood musical. We'll hire Bette Midler. Then she'll win the Academy Award. And then we'll have dinner with Bette Midler again.
And you did have dinner with Bette Midler, didn't you?
And that's how we did it. And that's why we started the project.
And that's great. And we always like Connecticut connections. And Sophie Tucker grew up in Hartford.
Right, Hartford. And not only that, she has a connection in New Haven, because the first thing she did after she left Hartford was to see her friends in New Haven at the Poli Theater. And that was the Howard brothers who set her into New York, and on she went to have a wonderful career.
And she was kind of known for her risque songs. Tell us about that.
Tell her one of the titles.
Well, first of all, one of the titles, she would get on stage, she would go, my boyfriend has the biggest dinghy in the Navy.
There you go.
But her song, she would sing, Mama goes where Papa goes, or Papa don't go out tonight. There was...
I'm not taking orders from no one.
And this was back in the early 1900s, and no woman would have that kind of an attitude, but Sophie was the first one to do that.
And she had some pretty famous friends along the way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She knew all the presidents. She palled around with kings and queens. She even bounced a little girl named Elizabeth on her knee when she was a baby, and now she's the Queen of England.
She knew Al Capone, but she was also friends with J. Edgar Hoover. So it was a range that was vast.
She was like the real live Forrest Gump of the 20th century.
And that makes sense. So talk to me about the book a little bit, a fictional memoir. How does that come together?
Well, we decided to make it in her first person voice. You know, when she had her real biography, her autobiography, we researched that years later. We found out that 85% of it was fiction and 15% wasn't, or maybe.
Because she kind of exaggerated things, right?
And so we did our research and we turned it around. She had 4 ghostwriters when she was coming up, trying to get this thing published, and nobody would publish it because it was so raw. And then they dumbed it down until they got this final version. So what we did is we're her 5th ghostwriters.
Okay.
She would have hired us for sure. And now it's 85% fact and 15% we're pretty sure of.
But the memoir part is the first person voice, and the fictional part is the 15% that we're not so sure of.
There you go. And this is also a documentary where people, and it's opening really across the country.
Right. The documentary is complete fact. I mean, that's from all of our research. research. She left 400 scrapbooks to the New York Public Library and to Brandeis. So after our research for 4 years on those scrapbooks, we came up with a documentary called The Outrageous Sophie Tucker, which will be opening throughout the country.
In March 12th, it's a big opening in Hartford, and they're going to name a street after her.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And the best part is you guys go to these viewings and people have an opportunity to talk with
Yes.
you.
Right.
Q&As. We do a
Q&As
lot of
afterwards,
Q&As.
and we get a lot of great questions, and it's just it's a way to promote the movie that's really not been done before.
Very nice.
People are coming out of the woodwork that had uncles, aunts, grandparents that knew Sophie Tucker, especially in Connecticut. We actually met a lot of Tuckers.
No kidding. Well, she's back in the spotlight. And where can we find the book?
Well, you can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or even in your local bookstore.
Or our site at sophietucker.com.
Very nice. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.